Hola everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk, and I'm super happy today because I have my sister in arms. I have my oracle, my dear friend, my sister Iris Jackson, finally, Power Lady. How's it going today?
Everything is great, wonderful, no complaints.
Yay. So far, right? Let
Yes,
me pause this. No, I'm just kidding.
I must admit, so far.
So far. Yeah, yesterday I was letting you know that I was just brewing up some stuff. It's like I just got a brand new GSD German Shepherd. I found Lola in the desert. Everybody knows the story on Instagram and on YouTube. So and I was just like, what am I gonna do? I'm having surgery Friday. There was 10 puppies, that I had total, and two more need a home. And I'm like, the cats. What am I gonna do? Lola is waking me up every hour and a half. We in this field of police work and military, we suffer from PTSD. And so I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't want to take her to the PAA, the Pima Animal Control Center. So I just let out a scream, a really, really huge, loud scream. And then I called you.
Mhm.
And you were telling me that it's actually therapy. And usually, it's funny because throughout my whole life, I'll scream, whether it'll be in the vehicle. I tried not to scream around my kids too much, because I didn't want to startle them. And so I'll find my vehicle or my pillow or the closet or somewhere out when in the desert where I would go climbing. So you told me about something very interesting yesterday, and I'd like to hear about it. That way, again, that way our friends here can see that it's
When it comes to the screaming, I used to work uh, for the police department. That's where I'm retired from. And there was an officer. After she'd come to work, she'd get everything, all her module taken care of, get everything organized, find out where she was, and then she'd go out onto the rec yard and she would scream. And I didn't know this till one day I was I think I was a rec yard officer. I was in another part and I could actually hear it because you can hear them from the street. And I said, is someone screaming? And then one of the inmates mentioned to me, said, no, that's Officer so and so. I go, what do you mean? They knew, I didn't, which is sometimes a lot of the cases. And they said, oh, yeah, she goes out and screams. So of course, I had to find out more. So I did see her and I talked to her. I said, what do you do when you're screaming on the rec yard? She's like, oh, I'd love to tell you. She was excited. She said, I use that method to release a lot of anger, pain, anything that's built up into me, I get rid of it. And she said, I go out on the rec yard, especially if I had a bad couple days. And she said, I just release it. And she said, I feel so much better after I do it. And I got to thinking about that, and it reminds me of like the warrior cry when warriors are going into battle, to get hyped up, to get ready for it, But she's using it just the opposite. She's using that cry to release all that energy. And apparently it works for her. I've seen my children do it when they were younger. Sometimes it's just so pent up. They just go, ah, and finally I go, are you okay? Yes, mom, I'm fine. And I'm like, okay. I've never done it, but I would have to say it would be truly something to maybe give a try.
Mm.
And I would say, okay, okay, that's what you needed to do, and that's fine. So obviously it works.
Mhm. I find it with me since I was a child, and I see the same thing with children is they get super excited. I would get super excited. I just had to scream, and my mom's like, why always screaming? Why? And then she'd call me La Llorona because I'd cry because
Mhm.
I didn't know these emotions when you first come in as a star seed, because most of us here, I believe, I know that we come as shooting stars to help, this whole whatever we're doing right now. So, and the emotions, they're just so much that you just gotta scream. Um, One thing that I don't know if it happened to you or what, but you get on your uniform because you're getting ready for battle. You're getting ready for war. I was a beat officer for STPD here, South
Mhm.
Tucson, and you get all revved up. You're like, okay, you don't know what's gonna happen. You know that you gotta come home because that's what you're trained to do is come home. No matter what happens, you come home to your family. And some days the emotion would be like so much, not that how do you say, not worry. Some days they were, but other days for me was really excited and I just wanted to scream. And my daughter, I would take her to school or whatever before my shift, and it's like, "Oh, are you okay?" She was so little. I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Are you sure?" Because I was really excited. Now she's older. She's 20 now. She and my son will understand what goes on with me. Um, it's just the emotions. They're mm, I kind of scare some people, because it's I don't know. It just happens that my emotions run so much that I can't verbalize them. So
Mhm.
I exuberate them in like the light or you know
Well, what I can say is that
happiness,
what I can say
excitement.
is when you're in let's say law enforcement, um, emotion is a good thing to have when you're dealing with someone who needs help or something like that. But when you have to when you have to work in an environment, is if you don't know if someone can come up behind you, if they recognize you or as someone you arrested before or things like that. So when you're in that uniform, people have said you have a target on your back. You have to be aware of your surroundings, what's going on. And sometimes that does not sometimes, it could really play on you because when you're in civilian clothes, you're sitting in a restaurant, you don't want your back to the door. You're
That's
watching the
funny.
people.
Yeah, funny you
Yeah.
brought that up because like if my mom and I go to a restaurant, she goes, "Te vas a sentar ahí." She already knows I'm getting the door.
Hmm.
My kids
Yeah.
know unless it's my son, I'm getting the door.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we're
And
always
and
hyper vigilant. Always. It never ends,
yeah.
right? I think
Yeah.
that's where the PTSD comes from.
Yeah. And I what I do now, instead of always saying I have to have my back to the door, if I'm having lunch or with someone, I'll say to them, uh, my back is to the door. That means that if someone comes through that door, you got to protect me or you're going to have to step up. I will, no problem. I said, okay. And that way, you don't always feel like you have to be the protector. You can take a break and let somebody else do it. Of course, you're going to assist them, you know, if it gets there, but hopefully that, they're going to see that first and they're going to be right there with you.
Oh yeah. And I was trying to explain to my mother last night because every day she says, "So did you sleep?" And I said, "Maybe an hour, maybe two." "Hi, Veronica, you have to start drinking the medication to sleep." I'm like, "No, I gave up all that. I'm me now. I'm in control."
Mhm.
It's just that the with the PTSD, if people don't get it, it's I'm right here right now doing the show and I'm looking. Some of the neighbors, I'm at the gym, I'm looking. All right, who's here? Who's new? What do you
You're doing a Gladys Kravitz.
what is
Remember
that?
Gladys Kravitz from what is that? Bewitched. She was always looking out the window.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Doña Florinda in
I
the
just told everyone how old I am, by the way.
in the Mexican channel, Doña Florinda, one with the ones always looking in the
Hmm.
Colorado, that one.
Hmm.
But you just never know. I'll be at the grocery store and it's like always, what if this, what if that, then that. And I was trying to explain to my mother, it's like, Mom, it's scenario after scenario after scenario. It's really hard for me to live in this world because not only do I have to be careful with my emotions to not show them, you know, that's what they teach us
Mm-hmm.
in the police academy, also in the military and in the secret space program.
Right.
You have to bottle down your um, feelings
Mm-hmm.
and you just got to take control. And so when the Hulk comes out in me or the katana, we just found out there's another altar katana that you helped me with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, just off with their heads. I don't care. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I won't take it anymore. And we are trained to take action.
Right.
Okay? We are we are trained to get rid of what is not only going to hurt you, but the other person, you
Right.
know. And we can never, ever, ever. As long as I live, I can never put my guard down. And
Right.
it's really hard. I really, it's hard for people to get it unless you're in these.
I would say that here in the 3D, believe it or not, it is much easier to watch your back than it is when you're on missions, you're on different planets, you're you know, in the astral. Just in the astral, the things that have happened to me in the astral uh have never happened to me in the 3D. You know, waking up, I had woke up with the eye that was equivalent to a black eye. It just didn't have the discoloration. I was fine when I went to sleep. I woke up, my eye was swollen, and it felt like someone had hit me. I've woken up with like my thumb. I could not use it. You know, I was like I couldn't hold an ink pen to write with, and it was like that for a few days. It got better, but what I eventually found out is that in an alternate reality, um, my thumb had been severed, and it was very weird because I was fine before I went to sleep, and I woke up and I did not have any function. I could not. My thumb was just hanging there. I could not use it. Towards the end of the day, I was able to like hold an ink pen because you know I kept. Let me see if I can write now, and I could not do anything. I had to do it left-handed, or I had to use you know just my index fingers and such. But those things are real. The
Yeah.
scratches, waking up with needle marks in the back of my head in places of that, and I never really gave it any thought until probably the past 3 years of my life. I started taking notice of these things, because now I check. I said, okay, all clear. And then I wake up the next morning and I have like a long scratch on my hand, you
Right.
know.
I remember
So
the day that you told me about your eye. You sent me the picture, the whole
mhm,
thumb thing, and and things like that have happened to me as well. And you know, when you're battling in the astral, like the other day, I woke up with a bruise on my thigh. I'm like, okay, I
mhm,
no, I didn't hurt myself here. Um, and you know, I believe that that's perhaps maybe one of the things that you know, because a lot of people will say, hey, Vero, how do I know if I'm a super soldier? I'm like, because you know they'll do sessions with me and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not gonna
mhm,
tell you you're a super soldier unless you have to find out by yourself. I will help you with your memories. I will
mhm.
help you activate your DNA. Um, and it's really neat because then say a month to 3 months later to a year later, it's like, oh my gosh,
Mhm,
thank you for helping me because you know what? Now I know these are the signs that I got to look for. Like for
mhm.
example, and we're not saying all, you know, how do they say all in and that there's a word no quiere decir que por esta razón vas a ser super soldado. Okay. So not just because of this reason you're going to be a super soldier, but we're just saying, okay, look for
It's different for everyone.
right
Right.
dreams, look for signs. So Iris, I just want to tell the public that about the astral that I had of you in 2017, and I didn't know it was you until about 2 or 3 days ago.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, let's hear it. Let's go.
Hmm.
You're gonna be okay?
Yeah. Ah, it's just beautiful when you realize, right, what
Uh-huh.
who the people are in your life, because this you think, oh, is all the movies that you see, time travel and things like that. We're time travelers,
Well, yeah, you don't realize that when you have visions and dreams, or you're in the astral, you see faces and images. Just like the other day when we were talking with Firehorse, and
yes.
I said, "Here's a picture. I've seen you," and it's him. You know, he has the black paint across his eyes, and that's how I drew it. I don't know why I drew it like that, but that's what I saw. And I said, "Hey, this is you. I was supposed to meet you." And he's looking at, sitting there in shock, like, "Yeah, that's me." I go, "Yeah, I saw this a few weeks ago." I did not know it was him until I was sitting there looking at him, and I go, "I've seen him before."
Hmm.
So go ahead and continue, because it is true. And when it happens, it's like, wow, I know her.
Right. And
Yeah.
I saw him, I didn't know back then, in May of 2018, or sorry, yeah, 2018. I was coming down this hill. I told everybody about it already, but there was a horse in the top of the mountain. It
Mhm.
wasn't a cloud, it was like a horse, and then on the top it had this fire on the top, and I'm like, what? And then I saw some eagles and things like that, and I'm like,
Mhm.
and then it's him.
It's him. Mhm.
I'm hoping to go to a platform where we were talking in private about next year. I'm
Mhm.
hoping that he'll go also.
Oh, that would be great. It'd be cool.
I
Yeah.
want all of our friends
Mhm.
to go, if
Yeah.
possible, because it
That
would.
would be great.
One of Celeste was saying, "Hey, why don't we all go?" And then Eve was like, "Let's go." It's like seven sisters. Here we go. I
All
told
you
her,
got to do is
"Oh,
just say it and do it.
let's go. Let's go,
Mhm.
Iris." And
Mhm.
we have to. It's gonna be great. I already have the first paragraph of what I'm going to talk about.
Well, I'm glad you're already working on it. That's
Yeah,
good.
you and others have been my inspiration. So anyway, let me go back to this
To 2017.
2017.
Mhm.
I am walking. There's like a deserted place, like it's like a desert here, like in Tucson, it's just desert. I'm walking, doing like a trail run or whatever. I'm in white shirt and pants. And all of a sudden I see two things from the floor up, from the ground up. There's these green, I thought it was green cactus, and they come and they're like this, and then they are eagles, green eagles that look like cactus, but they're not cactus or cacti. They come with me, they
Mhm.
fly with me, and then to my left, I see that there is a distraction. And we all know what that distraction was. Or distractions. I call it the CIA love bites.
Uh-huh.
And so this guy older gentleman was trying to sell me drugs. Hey, come
Mhm.
over here, Juanita. You want to do something? I'm like, nah, 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 nah. I don't
Mhm.
focus on that. So then I go, and all of a sudden there's an earthquake. There's a break in front of me. Boom! The earth breaks in front of me, and then there's like the earth goes up, the la tierra, and it
Mhm.
like a barren, like it makes a mountain, but it's actually like a train of a mountain. And I sit on top, and as I'm sitting on top of it, there's this. You know how when you're waiting for the bus stop, there's like these things on top. They're metal, metallic. I look
Mhm.
up. It's kind of like blue, black, and then I look to my left here in my front. There's this female, beautiful female. Now I know it's you. Talon and dominant. She has short, tight knit black hair, real beautiful, so beautiful. Here there's like these, you know how the Mexican bracelets we have here, or the bracelets from Africa that are really thick and gold. and you had like these gold and beautiful. That is to me that meant you were a pharaoh or something. You were some kind of queen or some kind of just a badass. Okay, we'll just call it
Well,
that. Rein,
I can I
right?
can interject what you just saw. My soul bloodline, I don't know how to say that, is Egyptian, and I am the daughter of Pharaoh Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut.
Oh, beautiful,
Yeah, I'm her daughter, Nefertiti Ra.
beautiful.
Yeah, and her only child, and I became a high priestess.
That was what I was trying to say too about
Right. You can actually look that up and you'll find, she was Hatshepsut was the first female pharaoh.
I will put it in the our little descriptions
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you know
yeah.
that way people
So when you mention that about around the neck, and also you have them around your arms.
yes
Right.
and your wrist. So
Yeah.
saw you like that. Okay, beautiful gold. Just you came to me, and then I saw as you were coming, all beautiful. There was like a kind of like a dress, and it was yellow, red, blue, orange stripes, vertical,
Hmm.
black also, and and you sat with me on the rail, but remember the rail is of earth, right? And we were
Right.
going down. All your tribe came to help me. They were also other people around me, and your we'll say, how do you say when a queen has their echelons or what? Yeah, military. Okay, so
Their
their
court, or
court, the
yeah,
warriors. All the
yeah.
warriors were along with other people, but you
Hmm.
stayed with me. And
Hmm.
when I came to understand that that was you the other day, I called you. I'm like, I can't keep this in anymore. Because all of our astrals have
Hmm.
a meaning, have a person in your life here that you will find sooner or later, never
Hmm.
later, right? I'm just saying later in our life sometimes when
Right.
we become
Yeah.
more wise, you know.
Hmm.
When we, like I always say, unmask your soul, and find out who you are, find out what your missions are. And then there's another astral that happened before that. Um, we were like in stagecoaches, maybe 1910, 1820, something like that.
Hmm.
Maybe even 1800s, maybe 1888, who knows? But I was like in another country, and it was a kind of like a museum inside. Kind of like a show, like you know how we have gem shows here, but it's they had stage coaches, they were selling things, bartering, things like that. And I saw a family come up to me. It was a melanated dominant lady, beautiful long hair, and her daughter and her son. Her husband, had a stagecoach, and the horses were there. And then he said, "Come up." He got me my hand, and I came up. And then the lady put her hands on my top here, my chest, and the little girl too.
Hmm.
And telepathically, she said, "You no longer have breast cancer." And I'm like, I woke up thinking, oh, maybe it's for my little sister. And years later, just the other day again, that's you as well. So there's a reason why I call you my oracle. You have helped me a lot
Hmm.
to become the wiser person that I am now.
Oh.
Not give away the loosh, to not play the CIA love bite anymore. I am so grateful that I don't have those emotions anymore because I told myself I'm shutting it down. There's anytime I try and start a new relationship, boom, it goes down. And like a fire, an airplane, me bajaste el avión, like in Spanish, me bajaste el avión, way. What? Like crash and burn. I'm like, baby, I didn't crash and burn. I'm I'm still here. It's just that
Uh-huh.
I am not going to pilot that airplane where that person is, or people that entertain. I do not entertain the thought anymore of, oh, maybe this is my Prince Charming. No, girl, I am my own knight. I am my own male, feminine, and masculine knight, king, queen, whatever you want to call it. Um, and I no longer need it. And you helped me a lot, because one day you said, Veronica, why are you taking so many selfies? And I'm like, right? Why am I? I know it's for the business or whatever, but it's like I was giving away my energy, and I should have known not to, because we when I clear people, I do certain things when they come
Mhm,
in. I tell them, take a picture before we start, before I remove this hex and whatever
mhm,
and then after I do the whole situation, I don't want to call it ritual because it's
mhm.
you know not demonic, or you know what I mean. Um,
It's an understanding of what people think a ritual is. It's
right.
all about intent.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And so when I'm done clearing them, I have them take another picture, and they're different. Totally, the demons are gone. The parasites, they have a glow in their face, a kick in their step. They're happy. They've cried already. They've cleared all that. It's kind of like Scream, you know. Hey, if you don't got money for a session, just go scream in front of the mirror. Right?
You know what I have found out, the way that I see things is that this path that we're on, it's important for us to take care of ourselves and to keep ourselves cleared. And by doing that, we're able to, with our intuitiveness and our abilities, we can see things that we normally wouldn't be able to see. But if we allow like our energy to be taken, if we're giving it away, and we're empathic, and we keep allowing ourselves to be drained, we have to take care of ourselves in order to take care of others, or the ones that really need it. So, that's how it's like, so you bring me drama, I don't take it. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. I just let it kind of bounce off of me. And it's something that is taught in law enforcement in the academy, that before you curse somebody out, because people get emotional when things happen to them. But before you say, B, you need to sit down, or we need, what you're going to do, we say, woosah, and we throw it off of us, and then we go,
I would
okay,
say
this
that
is,
too.
yeah, then we stop it, we say, this is what we're going to do. Because when someone comes at you with all that emotion and energy, especially if it's negative, it's very easy to draw you into that. And so, that's what we were taught in the academy. It's real interesting that it works, on different level and different places. But we don't walk around saying woosah. We say and then say, this is what we're going to do. Because
I
it
would go
gives you a
like this,
time, yeah.
like in my
It gives
patrol
you
car.
time to break that energy, to break, put a break in it, get a breath and realize what's going on. And then you're like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get out of this.
Oh yeah.
And so that's what I see when it comes to the energy and things like that. Because, if you're this beacon and you're shining and all that, the darkness, you'll find them around you all the time. And, you'll be going to the grocery store and people just attract to you, and they just start holding conversations. And you can usually tell if it's a good one or a bad one. And so if it's a good one, I'll continue on. If it's something that's draining, I said, okay, I gotta go get in line. Nice talking to you.
Hmm.
You know. So it's been a learning and as well as enlightening experience.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
and as soon as they find out, my neighbors, when they just one neighbor, he's lived here 14 years. I've lived here 4, and we were talking the other day. We were talking about South Tucson. Oh, do you know this guy? Do you know that guy? And as soon as he knew that I had been a cop and in the military, I'll walk Lola. Like last night, I was walking Lola. He's like, "Oh, you're walking her, huh?" And then he walks the other way. It's it's a good thing actually, because I used to think, man, it's kind of lonely out here. Like Nobody wants to talk to him. I'm like, but why do I want to talk to people anyway? Like, I mean, me, I shouldn't say that, but I was trying to say, um, I'm here to help those that want, to
Mhm.
know what the heck their mission is, but I don't need to entertain, like you say, um, these parasites because everybody has some sort of parasite. I mean, you go to fast food place, you get parasites in your body. We talked about this in the
Mhm.
other show.
Right.
You actually feel your body turn different.
Mhm.
And one thing,
Al-
mhm,
Also, shaking hands.
yes.
Energy is transferred that way. That hug, that big bear hug. You know, be careful of those because it's okay. Do that bump, that elbow bump.
Always, always.
Because yeah, if it's someone that takes energy,
Mhm.
that hug, that big deep bear hug, they're gonna take some of your energy, guaranteed.
Ah, I have this thing, I'm sure you do. So, when you go hug a person, you don't just go like that. I always go this way, like
You
to
go
part.
to the side. They come like this. You go like this.
Yay! And, whoa, yeah, right?
Mhm. You're right.
Yeah, you just never know. And we have to be careful what we receive from other people. My cousin was just telling me the other day, she's like, you got to be careful. What is the intention behind the gift that somebody gives you? She said, you don't have to accept everybody's gift, Vero. You have to be
Mhm.
careful. And I was thinking about that. I mean, I knew this
Yeah.
before, but we were talking about, like, for example, kombucha. Right? I make kombucha and I infuse it with love, unity, prosperity, healing, money, which is all that prosperity.
Mhm.
For people to remember their memories, just peace, all that. And I was like, man, you gotta be so careful, even when you're in a restaurant. Where'd that water come from? You gotta
Mhm.
infuse it with your energy, that coffee.
Right.
Um, you're at a person's house. I don't pray over my food. I don't do that anymore, but I just in my mind I say I charge you with life, with love. Thank you for the sacrifice you made for me, the animal. That's how I do
Mhm.
things.
And
But yeah,
that's how you should do that, even when you go to restaurants, because you can have someone preparing your food who's had a very bad day. And in the preparation of that food, that energy is going to, transfer to your food. So when you get your meal, you're right. You thank the creator, you thank the animal, the vegetables for growing. You think everyone involved to give you that nourishment, and it clears it. That's how I see it.
yeah,
You know, it's just I tell you, this journey I just learned so much, and I probably went through the first 50 years of my life, just in the crowd, so to speak, with working children and things of that sort. And after I retired, I got to the point where I had all this free time. And I was like, what am I going to do now? So I said, I'm going to go to church. So, so I started looking for a church to go to. Now I know what the Sabbath means. I said, that's Saturday. So I'm like, why do we go to church on Sunday? So then I said, well, I need to go on Saturday. So I look for one. Like I found, I believe it was two. I can only remember one that actually go on Saturday. So then I started researching the Bible to find out exactly what's going on. And of course, since I was reading it and not allowing someone else to read it to me and give me their interpretations, I saw a lot of things that I did not know existed. And they, in turn, took me to the next level, and I found out about all the books that were missing. And then I found out, I mean, there's so many different books that have been taken. And then you read in there, it says, you're not supposed to change your word here. And I think one of the most profound things that I found in the Bible in the Old Testament was the word matrix. I could not understand how the word matrix was in that Bible because it's such a new word. So that led me to the belief that there have been a lot of changes. And then once I got that and I got on the third eye, as far as trying to activate the third eye and learning things, writing my dreams, journaling and things like that. And then I realized some of the things that I was seeing words and things like that. I wouldn't say they would come true, but I was like, I knew that was going to happen. That's that word I wrote. I was probably supposed to be here. And then that's when I found out about super soldiers. And I started, watching the videos, the regular people, James Rink, and Anthony Zender, all those people. And I started, the more I watched those, I started getting more memories of me running in, like, it looked like a desert terrain, jumping off of cliffs. um then I started checking the scratches and things like that. Those started appearing, waking up exhausted, you know, and and it and sometimes those things trigger the memories that you've lost or don't have, but they not all of them are good, you know. You see yourself being used, you see yourself in all these different programs, and then you have to learn them. Monarch, Mobius, Shaw House. It's all this. It's a whole new uh, vernacular that I had to learn to understand what was going on when I would go to sleep. And it took me over a year to find Jessica Morocco, and I did my first reading with her. And she she told me, oh, you're this is where you were in Egypt. And I'm like, oh, really? And then she said, I see you're a super soldier. I said, a what? She said, yeah, a super soldier. She said, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so when she said that, then I said, okay. And then she explained to me the 20 and back. And I said, oh, so I'm currently doing this. When did I go there? She said, when you were 14. I said, so I started calculating my age, and I said, oh, then I should be done or almost done. She just laughed because I knew she was thinking, oh, isn't she cute? She don't know. So she said, well, it's something like that. She said, it's actually going on while you're here. I said, oh, so you mean, what did they do? You should have, talking about having, being innocent of all the stuff that was going on. That was me. And I had to learn to wrap my head around all this, what was going on with age regression, body enhancement, the different dimensions, different realities, pocket realities. It was I had to learn a lot really quick
And the
because,
goo too, the black goo, the green goo, all two,
yes,
right?
because things were happening to me in the astral, and I just would write them down, and I would, like, yeah, I saw this person, or I saw this thing with wings, and I had never seen a vampire before. I told her I saw this guy. He was gray, thin. And I said, he had like the shiniest head, but he had like a widow's peak on his forehead. It was like his hair. And she just laughed. She said, that's a vampire. I go, oh, what? They're what? Because, I'm not saying I was thinking of Eclipse the movies, but I never thought I would encounter one. And I said, well, yeah, I said, we were grappling on the ground. He said, she goes, well, you have to be careful with them because they're kind of crazy. They might have liked it. So we need to break ties so that he doesn't come bother you anymore. I go, are you serious? Vampires are real? She's like, yeah. So that was a big learning curve for me to learn all of the different types of entities, and the races and planets, and it's a whole world that exists outside this 3D, and most people aren't even aware of it, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Yeah, and then when did we meet? You contacted me for a reading, and then when I went to Vegas, thank you so much. We
Mhm.
went out to eat twice, and
Mhm.
we had a really good talk,
Mhm.
and you even took me to the airport. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah. We
I
went to the
I
airport. Yeah.
find this so weird. I know I'm backtracking a little bit, but when I when okay, so I had a friend of high school of mine that I hadn't seen forever. That he lived in Vegas. He said, "I'll pick you up." This was like a month before I was gonna go.
Mhm.
Okay, but at the same time, I call Albie because we were just chatting on Instagram for some reason.
Mhm.
He says, "Yeah, I know Misha Johnston, and let me know if you need a ride." And I'm like, "Okay." Well, when I get to Phoenix, I call my friend, "Hey, Mike, are you gonna go pick me up? I'm gonna be there in about an hour and a half." Oh, I totally forgot. He made all these excuses, and I'm like, so when I land in Las Vegas, I'm landing. Turn on my phone. Guess who calls me? Albie calls me. Say,
Uh-huh.
"Right?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I wrote it down. Do you need a ride to the hotel?" Wow. So we will always be taken care of,
Taken care
protected,
of. Yes.
because we have missions. And now it's your turn. It's your turn to
Mhm.
speak. And do you have any memories of like Mermaid or the 13 crystal cities that I talk about, or the skulls, or any kind of memory before the end of time? Remember we were talking about that?
Uh-huh. As far I have seen a futuristic city. The buildings were white, um, made of some type of stone or material that I've never seen here. Um, and running, separating it was like, tall buildings on one side and smaller buildings on the other side, but running through the middle is some type of blue liquid. And I could see it shimmering and it's blue, and I don't know what that is. In the vision that I saw, it was something that was used to protect the city. So it went through the city and then
I
it
know what that is.
encompassed.
I know what that is.
You do?
I know. It's the bioluminescence where we come from.
Yeah. Well,
If you all look at, I know you do, but if you all look at the expanse, um,
oh yes, yes, you're right. The bio, yeah, from the
that's us.
expanse.
Hmm.
Hmm. That is what's running, and it's alive. And I could see it. I see it running through it and encompass the whole, and it is used to protect the city and
It's
the
like
people.
this blue here. It's like this.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. It's like a deep blue. Yeah, like
that's
that.
us, baby. That's the sun. And I finally figured that out coming from Vegas like last year. I figured it
Uh-huh.
out toward the end of the year. I'm like, what? That's what we are.
Hmm.
Somebody said, "Oh, that guy Jim Mars talks about." I'm like, I didn't know, because he was taken out because he told the public that we're stars.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. But go ahead. Sorry. I'll send you a picture
Oh.
of that of the building, because John sent me a picture. He's going to be on Thursday. John
Mhm.
Whitberg. He sent me a picture of these buildings, but I don't know. We'll see. But go ahead,
Mhm.
Iris. Thank
I
you.
yeah, I did draw it. If I see something, I will draw it. Um, of course, it looks a whole lot better in my head than when I actually draw it, because I draw, I believe, like I'm still in probably middle school. Let's say that. I try to hit all the spots, but I see, like, for example, the more interaction that I had with other super soldiers, I would start to see them, and then I would see myself on mission. So, I found out that what it was is that my interaction with them was triggering me. You know, I even you know had memories of a Nazi reality. You know, and the things that happened there, I had to ask to be forgiven for the things that I did, and that's like a long story, and it's very vivid. I mean, what I saw and what I was watching,
You want to
I
talk about
did.
it?
Pardon me?
You want to talk about it?
No.
not
uh-uh, you know, because I still see, the blood and the hurt and the pain and things that were done to people, and I thought I was just watching it, you know, but I wasn't. I was a
no, they used us.
participant.
They used us
Uh,
for all kinds of actions, and now that we know, we cut ties with
mhm.
them, like you say.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. But every time I think about that memory, I could actually see it, and I could see what was going on with the people. And so I wrote it all down. It's like notebook page, 2 pages long. But it was watching James when it triggered me. He was talking about it because he has it in his presentations, and I watched something that he was talking about, and I must have fell asleep on it because when I woke up, the TV was, on something else. But I saw that whole thing, and it was it was something. Like I said, I had to ask for forgiveness, and you know, had to do things to help to heal the people. It was just a lot. So that's about all I can say right now. And that I just have to reiterate that it's real. It is. So that's all.
Yeah. Um, yeah, speaking of TVs and when I go to people's homes, I always tell them, okay, you got to cover your TV, the mirrors. I do a whole thing on their windows because those are portals. And when I was a kid, I used to watch over and over again the Poltergeist movie, on the screen. And I have a memory of being 3 years old going through a screen. And then I disappeared, and my mom's like, "Where the heck have you been?" You know, and that's when I was taken into one of the ships with I feel it's the Andromedans because I asked Barry Littleton about these dreams. Even the astral one that I had with you, and he says, "Oh, those are the Andromedans." I go, "Yeah," because I feel like I'm from Andromeda, and so he helped me with that. There will be people in our lives for those people that are coming on here to question your childhood and things like that. Now, remember you were telling me how we have lost time. I was in Head Start at 3 years old, and I only had maybe one memory. And then you didn't have memory until later on, like in school. Do you want to talk about those kind of?
Well, my first, we all have our like memories of when we're little, things of that sort. I have one memory of my first day in Head Start, and then my next memory is um, second, I think it's second grade. So, so I have one day of Head Start, no more memories. First grade, no memories. Second grade, no memories. I'm pretty sure I don't have any memories till about third grade, that I started remembering, and I still don't have any memories. I when I was in third grade, lived in Tucson, Arizona, where you are right now, and I have uh, I have some memories of things, here and there, but I do have a memory of being in school at Davis Monthan Air Force Base. We lived down the street from Davis Monthan Air Force Base, and I went to Corbett Elementary School.
Wow.
And I remember being taken to the library, and I remember sitting
Many
with
of us
other. Hmm?
library. Many of us have, even Frank, Susan,
Yeah,
library. I remember always at the library. What the heck?
yeah, yeah. And it was very strange because it was me, just a handful of us. It wasn't a whole lot of kids, just a handful. And I remember sitting there in my little pink dress, um, and someone was showing or telling us something, and I don't remember what it was. I just have that memory. But you spoke earlier, um, which made me think about cyborgs, and I know a lot of people look to the skies and the stars and they're stargazing and they see a lot of things. And there are a lot of positive things, but there are also things there that are negative. And there was a point in time where I would go outside and there would be the star. It was not on my, those star apps. It wasn't there. So finally I figured out it must be a ship. And I would see it. And I'm, hey, how you doing? Back and forth and doing this and that. And every night I would go out and I would say, are you out there? And it would just light up and start flashing. And I'd like, oh, check that out. Go back in the house. The next night I'd come out, where are you? Are you still out there? And it would start flashing. So fast forward, probably this went on for a couple of weeks. And I'm getting ready to walk outside to say hi again. And I get a text message from Jessica Morocco, just out of the blue. She said, I am talking to you, and you are here to tell me to tell you to stop communicating with those ships. And I got an adrenaline dump. I did an about face and I went back in the house. I was shaking and nervous. I was like, what the heck? Big story, small. It was Cyborg. And because of my interaction with them, they were interested in me. And my other self came from another reality because I saw myself here going through portals. I said, yeah, because I told Jessica, I said, hey, I think I went through a portal by opening it, or I was, leaving. And she said, that was you, but this was the other you coming here to tell you to stop talking and communicating with them because they were going to take you. And I would not go out. I would go outside with my head down after that at night, but I wouldn't look in the skies. It took me a long time before I would look in the skies, because I know now what's up there. It's not all love, light, and beauty, and there's a whole lot. There's another nefarious side that's there, and for the right person or people to them, they won't hesitate. And that's what I found out also. But I had to wrap my head around that me from another dimension came here to warn me to stop talking to them. And it was my higher self. And I was just blown away once I was able to wrap my head around what actually happened. And so to this day, I still have to be that way. I can't just go out and look at these beautiful, look, there's a Big Dipper. I think that's Venus. I could glance up and look, but I have to go about my business because I can't.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, because I've talked about a Mason that infiltrated me 3 years ago, telling me, look at those star things that burst, call them to you. And then just last week, Jessica said, you got to break ties because there's a ship right over you. So, yeah, I know what you mean about the fake things up there. And the North Star, I see like it's a space station or something. But we'll be back for more. Thank you so much, Iris Jackson, for being on Codebreaker Real Talk. And how can they get a hold of you, please? Thank you. So this is the 5th time they freeze us. Can you please tell the public how they can get a hold of you? And thanks again for being on Codebreaker Real Talk. And we'll end it for now, but we have many, many more episodes to go. Thank you, Iris Jackson, Power Lady, for being on with me.
Yes, we do. We do have many more, and you can reach me at Gmail, powerlady3@gmail.com. That's PWRLADY, the number 3@gmail.com. And I also have a little YouTube channel. It's Power Lady, PWRLADY. And so hope to check out the videos, or email me with some questions, or whatever floats the boat. Thanks, Veronica.
Anytime, Mama. You have many, many memories. You have books. And we went in Vegas, we went through all of them, most of them, and we're like, oh my gosh, wow. So we have so much more to talk about. Thanks again. Love you, Iris.
Yeah, we'll see you. Bye, everyone.